All right, we're back.
We're back.
And welcome to episode 2 of We Came Here to Poddy.
Episode dose.
And we're just pushing on.
We are.
We're recording episode 2. It's one of those kind of funny weeks.
It is a bit of a funny week. I mean, what day is it today? It's Wednesday. No, is it Thursday today? I'm losing my mind.
It's Thursday.
It's Thursday. So is it exactly a week since we recorded our last one?
We recorded it on Thursday.
It's been exactly a week.
Yeah, which is crazy that actually took a week.
To do the next episode.
Yeah.
To be fair, we probably could have done it earlier.
Yeah.
There's something really stopping us.
Kind of what happened is I had this thing was to do it as quick as possible, which was just to record and try get it on YouTube, try get it on Spotify, just do the whole distribution and just see what got in our way, to see what common things are happening to people, and a few of the actual kind of like parts of the process which I hadn't done myself right to the very end. Like I've helped people with all kind of parts along the way.
Yeah.
But actually seeing what those barriers were, like there's some tricky parts.
Yeah. We had some funny moments, some head scratch moments that I'm sure we'll get into.
Yeah, and it was such a good experience. Like at the same time, I was like, this is so painful.
Bit of a slog at some points. Yeah.
We often like tell people that the recording part is the kind of easy part.
Yeah.
But it's all the kind of distribution, all the things of actually getting it online.
100%.
Then telling people about it. We're going to go into some of that soon.
Yeah. But I think we've kind of upgraded today because we've actually got notes on our piece of paper today. Whereas last time we had a blank piece of paper. So we've leveled up our game a little bit. Although you're still our note taker, which I appreciate, of the two of us.
I love notes. I'm always writing things down.
So we have kind of, somewhat of a structure today, and that we're going to be kind of reviewing our last episode in terms of like, now that we've actually made it, we've sort of, watched it a little bit and talk about the problems that we had, and then we'll touch on at the end as well, just sort of some recording tips, simple recording setups for people who are looking to get into podcasting, just in the most basic form. We can get into a little bit of that later on.
Yeah, trying to simplify what people think is the biggest barrier. And then as we do these episodes, we want to ask you guys to comment about whether you want to go deeper on a certain topic. And then we'll kind of cover it in depth in an episode of its own. Yeah. So it's kind of like pick your own journey.
Yeah, there's so many rabbit holes in audio, but especially podcasting. So we can very quickly go on tangents. So I think letting the kind of listeners decide where we want to dive deeper is probably better, because we could talk about something for ages and then find out that no one was interested. So let us know if there's anything you want to hear more of, and we'll make a dedicated episode about it.
Yeah, or maybe we'll like say something in the intro or the title that this is a deep dive. Like,
deep dive episode into one specific topic. Yeah,
not for a beginner podcaster like this particular episode or some example like that. And I don't know, we'll even kind of review each time to see if there's anything we missed, because it's quite weird when you're looking back at your own episode. Yeah,
especially when you're just sort of doing it off the cuff a little bit, and we're trying to keep it as less scripted as possible, and just feeling natural. You can miss things as you go. So
and again, for this episode, I've been thinking, of course, of all the next like layout. Ryan's been thinking of how we go, so we kind of have this discussion of what should happen next. Yeah, and then one thing that I was always looking at was like it keeps getting too technical. Yeah. And all of those technicalities that come in just make us feel like we're stalling on time. Yeah. Oh, we need to prep for that. We can't really do that today. Yeah. Oh, is that going to be in the next episode? So every time I'm just saying, well, that's just going to have to be a future episode, because we could sit down and record one now. There's enough just to hit record, and we're just going to have to plan to do those more technical things later. That's just the way it is. Like, it has to roll on. We can't put technicalities in the way and then it take 2 weeks to get the time to do that. Yeah. That's just a barrier.
Yeah. And in the same sense, it's kind of like what we're talking about with just getting the process of getting a recorded product online. Like, you just have to brute force your way through the problem to fix it. You know, sometimes you just actually have to do it to solve the problem.
Yeah.
So at some point, we also had to be like, stop talking about it and actually just do it. You know.
Yeah.
And then we'll actually just get it solved.
So we do have a plan, but just very quickly, I'll tell you what happened yesterday.
Yeah.
So I told Ryan, I'm like, let's just jump on a Zoom call. We'll record like a little intro, and then we'll kind of announce that on Instagram that we're releasing the first episode. Because I feel like just doing it in text form or a photo or just like a clip or something from the actual podcast, it's like we might as well just do it in real time. So I got Ryan on a Zoom call. And then I was like, oh, yeah, sweet. Before we do that, I'll just like upload the video and make sure that it's actually online. And then we're like, oh, wait, what's this thing? Like this verification wouldn't work on YouTube. Like it needed 24 hours. I needed to actually take a photo of my license.
Yeah. So but to get, I think, is it to post videos longer than an hour or longer than a certain time?
That was the other verification.
Oh, there's two verifications.
Yeah. So I needed to verify, it was just my ID and there was something else. And that took 24 hours to come through. And then the next one was to post videos that were longer than 15 minutes. And that was the phone number one. That was actually easy.
Wow.
Yeah. But then we realized another thing. I guess this is just a time to quickly go through this because it was like real time.
Yeah.
Then so I had my normal YouTube account.
Yeah.
And I thought I was just going to be able to kind of use that, have a podcast. But then as soon as I did a test, published it.
Yeah.
Then it was like on my account.
Yeah.
So then I was like, what is this that I have to do?
Yeah. We kind of thought that you could create like a podcast on your own, like on your account, and it would be like, it would come up as it wouldn't come up as your channel, it would come up as a podcast. It's a little bit confusing because we're not YouTube experts.
No. So quickly found out, yes, you got to create your own another channel, and that's like a creator's channel. So we quickly did that.
Yeah.
Then what was the next roadblock? The banner.
Before that, it was the profile.
The profile picture.
Profile picture for the YouTube channel. Obviously, we quickly made in episode 1 the tile, and so we were like, let's just repurpose, I guess, the tile. So we grabbed that the cutout of us,
which is just that shot from here.
Here, someone took a photo of us, and then we just put it on a background, an orange background, and we just called it a day. Like, cool.
Yeah.
Next roadblock out the way.
It's kind of pixelated. It's
a little bit janky because it's just the iPhone cutout. Like it's not even like a Photoshop.
Yeah, we're talking about like the small circle one that you see on people's YouTube channels.
The little,
And actually, if you actually have a look at most people's, like they're not that
impressive,
amazing. Or it's just like a little logo of the company or something.
We don't have a logo. We're not that high budget.
You can't see it in detail anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not really that important.
Yeah. And then we ran into the next thing, which was the banner. Which was another thing in itself, because then I was like, we have to we've got to get Canva out again and actually figure this one out. And so both of us started just going through YouTube banner templates, putting our little design skills to test. And we did eventually land on something, which was quite fun. Again, we're kind of not really we're not taking it too seriously. Like it's just a bit of, it's just going to look, we're just kind of trying to prove that you don't need to, doesn't have to be some serious level, like professional design. Like, I don't think people really care about your YouTube banner that much.
It doesn't, if it's a barrier, like you've just got to.
Exactly. Sometimes you just got to just push the barrier out the way just for the sake of getting it out the way. Even if you don't do it properly, just get it out the way. It's not that important at the end of the day. Yeah,
like we ended up using a couple of different shades of yellowy, orange.
Bit of blue, bit of navy blue, I think, in there as well.
Yeah, and then we kind of looked at it and it looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's actually different colors to our podcast tile.
Test.
Because the call it the Kanye tile that ended up like gray and
orange.
Gray and orange, which I like.
We haven't quite figured out our brand colors yet, as well. Basically, Reese is getting to. We were kind of just like, this looks kind of cool, and then we're like, sweet,
let's get that in the way of our recording career.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. Figured that out eventually.
That was like, I don't know how long that took us. Maybe like an hour and a half. That was a little bit.
Writing the description.
Oh yeah.
As well. So those are all kind of things where you have the product and then you go to put it out and you're like, oh, the admin.
Yeah, the admin. So that was kind of
It's not that bad.
Yeah, it's not that bad. It's up there now. It's on YouTube.
I don't like it, but it's not that bad.
Yeah, well, that's okay. You don't need to like it right now.
No, I mean, I don't like the process of doing that stuff. It can be quite painful.
Yes, 100%.
Or thinking about other people, I can see how it seems like so much technical stuff, and we do this stuff all day.
Exactly, we work with technical stuff all the time. Like, this should be easy for us, and we were like scratching our heads trying to figure out
watching YouTube videos.
What format do we put the phone number in, because it's not accepting our phone number.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
that was track. That. So then we've got that done, released it, and it's online.
Yeah.
And
here
looks
we are.
good.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah.
All those bits done. I mean, you only have to do it once.
Yeah.
So once you know, you know.
Yeah.
Cool.
So looking back on that first episode, now we're 1 week ahead of our previous selves. We can kind of look back and see where we went wrong, or I don't know, and just thoughts in general on it.
Yeah.
My
idea got rejected to do a reaction video to our video.
Listen, I actually think a reaction would be hilarious. I think it's a funny idea.
No, but then you said it's got to be, we're going to sit there and
for 30 minutes
watch the whole thing. I don't know. There'll be some.
I think it's like a smaller version of that is good. Like maybe just like a highlight reel of us. Like, that was a funny moment. I think it's a funny idea. But then you just got to edit a little highlight reel of it, or we'll have to edit ourselves reaction to it quite down. And it's just like, is it really just worth the effort, you know?
That's more admin.
It's just more planning. And even though we literally do this for our jobs, like, I think that mindset in general is just good for people, especially for people who are getting into podcasts. Like, limit your admin, limit the amount of work that you have to do, because it'll make it easier to actually get the podcast done. Because like you said earlier, like, the recording is the easy bit. It's the setup and it's the stuff afterwards that gets in the way of everything. So make that stuff as simple as you can.
Yeah, well, the thing with our job is that we have to make it super tight.
Yeah.
You know, like,
oh yeah,
this is an experiment at the same time.
Yeah.
And so in terms of the cost of both of us doing this,
yeah.
And so we'd have to be super efficient.
Oh, yeah.
We can't be like, oh, we spent a whole day doing this thing. Then it's like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah. Yeah,
you know,
totally.
so the production value can't be like insanely high, because we're trying to like prove a reason for doing this. So it just has to work. It has to be quick.
Yeah.
We have to just be able to sit in here and quickly record something, post it, and move on, and then move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So it's got to be tight. We can't do like major plans at the moment.
Yeah.
So,
I guess, how did you feel about the first episode looking back? Yeah, you go first.
I think it looked great. And I think it was everything that was meant to be for a first episode.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of doing the reverse, looking at myself, being critical, and then not like super critical, because that's the whole point. I've kind of got to that point where I don't really need to worry too much about that, which is the entire practice of what we're doing.
Yeah.
Not being super critical.
Yeah, that's right.
So I was kind of looking at myself, and it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Exactly. So ums is the main thing. Some of my I'm just like super long ums. That's how I talk sometimes.
It's also one of those things that, like, when you point the ums out, people start noticing them. Like, in everyday conversation, your brain, when you're talking to someone, just filters out the ums. Unless it's like super like in your face. I say all the time. I'm probably saying it right now. But like, unless I'm not pointing it out to you, which I am, you probably wouldn't notice in a normal conversation. And when you're, you know, this is like a common pitfall that everyone does when they create their own podcast, is they listen to themselves and they go, oh, my own voice, that's gross. And then they go, what am I actually saying? Oh, listen to how many times am I saying like? Oh my gosh, how many times am I saying And then you start to notice it, and then it bugs you even more, right? And that's just like, then you just get like paranoid and be like, oh my gosh, I can't speak properly. And then every time you record next, all you're thinking about is don't say don't say And you know, it's just become like a self-conscious thing. And you just get turned into like it's a rabbit hole of just spiraling down of like, you know, what am I saying? When in reality, people don't really care or listen to it.
No, but it's as I was saying, like before the episode, it's a considered and it's a practiced skill of being conscious about what you're saying. It's
For sure.
actually to do with like the audiobook reading as well.
Yeah.
It's just being present
Yeah.
and slowing down and
Yeah.
letting the thought come and
Yes.
not rushing it or
Yeah.
having to use that filler.
100%. Yeah.
Not to the point where it actually distracts you from talking normally,
Yeah.
right? So I'm kind of doing that now.
Yeah.
in my
I can
head.
tell. It sounds really good.
Right, so I'm being it kind of it's the thing that makes people sound like
They know what they're talking
or the
about.
idea of sounding more intelligent.
It does
when
make you
you
sound more
pause
intelligent. Yeah.
instead, and it's like, oh, they're really thinking. But it's a learned.
It is a learned
Skill.
skill.
Yeah.
I definitely don't have that learned skill of thinking about what you're saying before you speak it. I sort of just let it go. And it is one of those things that, again, you don't really even notice it. Like when you're doing that, like if we didn't say anything, you probably wouldn't notice that, oh, he's not saying that's very weird. But you would notice that you go, oh, he sounds very well-spoken, intelligent, and smart. It's this weird subconscious thing. But at the same time, like, it's not that, like, it's not distracting if you don't, it just makes you sound a little bit smarter.
Yeah.
Which I guess for certain topics and podcasts is quite important.
I just wrote down because there was another thing that I forgot to write down, which is like something that I always do, and we'll come to that as well.
And maybe this is what you're going to talk about, but I noticed as well. I edited myself for the first time on a podcast, like actually edited the audio, and I noticed there's something about myself. This is again like one of those things where you just be critical of yourself. Is that I say yep or when someone else is talking all the time.
You weren't as bad as
really?
Maybe I wasn't listening to you.
Maybe.
But I noticed like I was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because on a different podcast I did this, and I was like, man, just shut up, Ryan. Like you're like it's actually
so
you're just
annoying.
talking over someone. Like
Yeah, because that's a very well known thing for like interviewers not to do that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's like a social thing, right? I just like to do it. It kind of reaffirms the person you're talking to. I don't know. It's just like
Certain times.
yeah. I don't
Right.
know. I
I
feel
don't know,
like
maybe there's more to learn about that.
maybe there is.
I'm aware of it.
But I feel like, and this is my opinion, but I just feel like in normal conversation, it just doesn't matter. Like, I just don't think people really, unless it's like really, there's like it's an extreme version of it. I just don't think people really are like the average listener is going like, oh, that's particularly.
No, but there
bad.
are levels to it, right?
There is levels to it, yeah.
So this when we kind of talk about
like how bad is it? Is it
Yeah.
that bad?
like
that it's
we've
a
had
problem.
Okay, let's talk about the difference between an audio podcast and its editability,
Yeah.
and then say a single shot video
Oh,
and its editability.
it's night and day. Yeah.
So we record, an audio podcast, and someone who's not a practice speaker has come on, and they're usually trying to conduct an interview or they're trying to fit in information, and they're not a really fluent
Speaker.
host,
Yeah.
right? So they're delivering something that they are kind of familiar with, but they know they have to get right.
Exactly. Like a script.
This is going to seem critical, but they're trying to pass it off as seeming natural.
Yes.
Like they are knowing this off the top of their head, but they're actually reading notes out of the corner of their eye.
100%.
So hard to do.
I see it all the
like it's
time.
completely unnatural.
It's like it's a skill, and it's a skill that not many people have. And so don't feel bad that you can't do it. Like to be able to read off a script and actually sound like you're speaking naturally. It comes across as incredibly wooden. And in fact, it does the opposite. It makes you sound like you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And it makes you sound like you don't have a lot of confidence because you can't just speak naturally. And there's something to be said actually about connecting with whoever is listening. And when you're reading off a script, you can kind of lose that because you're using this really intelligent language, like you're done a really nice write-up and you're using this intelligent language. And then versus you're just using everyday language, you're talking casually, people can connect to that a lot more and actually receive what you're actually trying to say, or receive the message a lot easier, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So in some ways, it actually does the opposite of what you even want to do. But I think also another reason why that can happen is like legal reasons. Some people need to say the right thing for legal reasons.
Oh, 100%.
Or they're in a corporate situation where they've got
Branding.
10 people listening to this, like being super critical of every word that you say, and so you need to get it right. To that, I say, as a podcaster, just like, doesn't matter. Like, I think you're actually doing the opposite of what you think you're doing.
Yeah.
Be less in control of what you say, and then the better it will come out.
Which takes practice.
Mm.
And
True. To do it well. To do it well, it
there's
takes
very
practice.
few people that I've seen, that aren't from some kind of role where speaking is a part of their day-to-day business.
Yeah.
Come in. Of course, you're going to look unnatural and you're going to be saying and all the time. You're trying to buy time to process it in your head before you say it.
Yeah.
So we'll do more deep dives into the hosting thing.
Yeah.
If that's what
people are interested in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was really just going back to and so sometimes with people's podcasts, so for an hour of audio, we can normally listen to that at in real time. It might take us in an hour and a bit. We're just like listening for major chunks to cut out. But then if someone's just got and stutters all the way through it, sometimes we are, to be completely transparent with people, those podcasts sound nothing like that. What you're hearing to what we've heard and what we've edited. Like, we would spend so much time making cuts every couple of seconds.
Yeah.
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think I've actually seen sometimes when I've done these really bad episodes, I'll look at how long the duration of the episode was in its raw form, and then look at what it ended up being with me cutting all the ums out. And sometimes it's been like 10 minutes. And that's crazy when you think about just 10 minutes of someone saying over and over again. Like, that's a lot of ums. Imagine just sitting here for 10 minutes just saying that is just, it's just insane to me. Yeah.
We do some serious stitching, but that's only possible on audio podcasts.
That's right.
A single shot camera, you can't do jump cuts all the time.
Yeah, so
it looks crazy. So you kind of have to leave it as it is.
Yeah, I guess just really quickly to talk about why it's a lot more difficult with a video versus audio, some people don't quite understand, is the reason is you can hide cuts in audio, whereas you can't necessarily do that in video. You can make a cut within silence. You can even edit words together and you can not even tell the difference. Whereas with video, if we were to cut 10 seconds from now, cut to 10 seconds from now, you will tell because the screen will just jump, So you can get away with a lot more with the audio side of things. With video, you can't do that. If we cut out every single that we said, it would just be like really distracting the way the video keeps jumping. Yeah, that's basically the reason why.
So that's the ums.
That's the ums.
So I'm going to let you know. I'm consciously going to try.
Okay. Do I need to do this as well?
No. This is just my thing to try and do, because I can not be fully transparent with people.
For sure.
That I'm going, like, obviously I'm practicing speaking well, and being considered in what I'm saying now that I've done it. Because the first one I was so chill, I wasn't even thinking. No, it wasn't chill. I was probably more nervous than I am now.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to take the time. That's the whole thing of people seeing us in real time,
100%.
like working through these things. Don't know, do an counter.
I think so as well. I think, no, that would be even.
That was a terrible idea.
That would be so a headache.
Maybe we should do it.
There we go. You can do it again. I think that's the thing with the problem with potentially this is that you start to think, how many times am I saying and it becomes like an overcritical thing. But I think I'm going to try do it as well, but instead of trying not to saying is just trying to leave a gap instead of saying So just trying to pause when I need to think. And if I say it's fine. But just trying to have those pauses instead of ums. It's like a practice. You got to train yourself to do it, eh?
Yeah, totally. So we're going to be thinking about that. That kind of segues on to this next note that I had. I'll read it off the paper.
Yeah.
It takes time to be able to speak naturally behind a mic. You have to practice and record to gain that experience and confidence.
Yeah.
There's
100%.
no way around it.
There's
so
no
like
way
when
around
you do your first episodes or whatever, you're going to sound pretty out there, but it doesn't take that long to get more confident, because the whole idea is to forget that this is here.
Yeah.
But again, with headphones on that are boosting the sound so you can hear every single mouth click and all the detail. It can kind of get crazy, but once you're actually having a normal conversation, you can kind of forget about it. Like I feel like my self critique from the first one, or worrying that the camera's on, is like halved from the first episode. Now that we've seen it, and it's like, it's not,
I haven't even watched
weird.
more than probably 5 minutes of it, so in some sense I don't even know what I did was annoying, so I probably would be doing the same thing if there is anything. Equally, it's probably good. It's probably fine. Like equally, it's probably like better that I don't look at it. Because then I'm not worried about anything.
So the idea is you need to just push through, and like with everything, you need to just keep pushing, pushing. You will get more natural and more confident.
But you actually have to be practicing it. Like you can't just be talking. Because I've like worked with podcast hosts who have hosted hundreds of episodes and still talk more or less the same as they did in the beginning.
That's
purely because they're not actually trying to talk, like leaving gaps with the talk. You know, all these little techniques that you can go into about practicing your speech. Because they're not practicing it, they sort of stay the same. So,
or just don't know, don't care.
Yeah, don't know, don't care, and that's honestly fine as well.
Or it's not that bad. People don't notice.
It's not that deep.
Yeah, that's cool. I've got
cool. Yeah.
Over editing. Oh, what were you going to
say? Just more about like my thoughts on the first episode. I guess I thought it was pretty good. I thought a little bit. Obviously, we had no structure to it, which is fine. That was kind of the idea of it.
Yeah.
The only thing I forgot to turn on the Rodecaster, which is the little kind of machine that's recording the audio side of things. But otherwise, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
It looked good. It sounded good. Yeah, I guess, and we can talk about the more of the editing side now.
Yeah, and each of those mistakes, when they happen, is a beautiful thing.
Oh, 100%.
And each time it happened, we'll be like, oh, do we need to start the episode again, or blah 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 blah. The whole point was to leave those things.
Keep it all in. That's kind of the ethos of this podcast, is just to leave the mistakes and to see what it's actually like to record a podcast for real. This is the first take. You know, I don't think we should make it so we don't do second takes of this podcast. I guess that's just the whole process, and to show that this is what it is, and also that it's not that important if you make a mistake. People get sort of worked up. Oh, we need to redo that. You know, actually, it's fine. People don't really care.
Yeah,
we don't care. I'm sure people don't care.
Well, the whole thing I was also thinking is that I've been recording and editing podcasts for 6 years.
Yeah.
And now you've been doing heaps of editing and recording of podcasts as well.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a way of reviewing that whole process.
Yeah.
The amount of advice and tips and stuff that I've given to people over the years of how to host.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of need to jump back in the seat and see if that's true and working, to be able to revise that and teach people again. It's like you need to be in the hot seat and feel what that's like when I'm teaching people how to read or record audiobooks.
You actually have
I'm
to
like,
be a
you have to read
to know
read to
how
me
to read.
And people freak out. They're like,
100%.
I can't read. Well, how are you meant to record somebody recording an
it's
audiobook
true.
if you
there
can't
are certain
read?
things you don't pick up until you actually do it yourself. That's right.
Okay, we talked about the idea of planning to the point where you have to wait until you have time.
Yeah,
need to keep recording.
I feel like me and you are sort of notorious for talking about our type of recording, and then like, you know, over analyzing a recording, be like, how are we gonna do this? You know, we could do it this week, we could do it that way. I guess the options are always like unlimited in our minds.
Yeah.
And you just have to just do it. That's kind of the lesson.
Just do it.
Just get in there, actually set everything up and press record. And actually, I mean, I always give this advice to people creating a podcast for the first time, especially when it comes to like the technical setup, is do a test recording. It's saved me so many times doing a podcast where I've thought the session out thoroughly. I've thought of all the problems, and then I go do the recording for the first time, even though I've done this massive planning, and then I run into problems that I didn't foresee. And it's always the simplest things, like the cable didn't reach. Like, how could I have thought of that? Those are the little details that you get out of actually doing a little test recording, and then like actually uploading the file and listening to it back and going, actually that sounds horrible, you know. That way you actually know, the mic was not even like in the right, it wasn't turned on, or whatever it is. You sort of those tiny mistakes you just have to get through to learn not to do them, and you'd rather do that in a test recording than actually on the podcast on the first episode.
100%.
Yeah.
Tiny experiments.
Yeah.
Got that from, I've always done that, but there was a book that I recently read that kind of talks about tiny experiments.
Cool.
But doing something hard and fast to kind of prove its way all the way through the system. And we do it with like everything that we do in audio engineering and music production.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to see that this file is going to go through all the steps of the record, and this is how it's going to come out. Am I happy with it?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how the recording is going to work for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or when people
100%.
come in and we're going to record vocals or something, I'm like, okay, sing me your song, play the backing track off one phone, record on another phone, and just sing me a rough version of the song.
Yeah.
Well, now I've heard you sing. Now I know what key the song's in. I know what type of microphone might be good for your voice. I can find the tempo. I can write some chords to it. But it's almost like people, they get shy then. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Sing it into your, like, what are you going to do in the studio? What's the difference going to be?
Yeah.
I understand why people kind of get a little bit weird about that, but I'm like, you're literally about to pay to come and record. The least you can do is do that. Eventually we convince people to do it.
Yeah, and it is very helpful.
So, does that segue into us talking about, second segue, talking about like basic recording?
Yep, because we have talked about, we did talk about, just to recap, after we finished the recording and you cleaned up the audio, chucked it into your editing software, we did the tile, which we saw. Then did we run into any other problems? No, I don't think we did. And then we went to the whole trying to get it on YouTube. We ran into the problem with the verification of the channel.
Yep.
The profile picture we didn't even think about, the banner, the description. We finally hit over those hurdles. Now we can talk about what's next.
Yeah. So when we're talking about how to actually record a podcast.
Yeah.
So, what's the easiest thing to do is to kind of think about it in terms of what's already been happening in the history of recording in terms of like what is considered a like media file recording, right? So
we're going broad here, but
right, it's not new.
No,
right? So like people have been recorded in the street, getting interviewed
100%
forever.
Yeah.
Right. So if you put that on a downloadable free media site,
platform, whatever
that's considered a podcast,
yeah.
right? So that's not new. So what I say to people is like the easiest thing that you could do is record with a phone each, right?
Yep.
You could sit outside at the park in your car.
Yep.
With two recording devices. You could use one, but I'll explain why one is difficult. So two phones, recording, put them in some editing software, release it as a podcast, 100% legit podcast.
Yeah.
Talking about like the distance away from people or the difference between how you use that phone can make a huge difference.
Yeah.
So you could use two phones outside.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to sound like you're in a natural environment. It's a podcast. Like I was recording like the graffiti writers while they were painting.
Yeah.
And I just had one.
Yeah.
Had a really good mic on it, but I was like interviewing them.
Yeah.
That's a podcast.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
Natural environment. But then if you recorded those two phones in a setting like this, then you're in a fully like studio controlled environment. Still a podcast.
Yeah.
But then the difference between having one phone, if you just sit it in between two people, like sometimes people have tried to do, you've got two different voices that project differently.
Mm-hmm.
So they're mixed into one file, and one voice might be more dominant than the other, and then you've got a very hard task to try and make sure that both
They're the same
voices are
volume.
balanced.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to like have that controlled projection.
Yeah.
Or one person can control it and do this, but then
Yeah.
you're not going to catch everything in time.
You also have the problem if you record it on two. I'm just now foreseeing this. This is what we're doing. Always sort of anticipating problems before they happen. Is that if you were to record on two phones outside in the example that you gave, you then have to align those clips.
You have to sync them.
You have to sync them, which is not probably easy for someone who doesn't know what they're doing,
No.
right? Having to align them perfectly so you don't get any weird phasing or anything weird going on.
Yeah.
So in some sense, maybe one microphone is even easier, is it probably better, and just passing between maybe easier. What are your thoughts?
Like we're talking about bare bones. So if you were going to, invest nothing more than what you have right now and you wanted to do a podcast, you could make that work. And I would probably just do one phone in between you and deal with that and send it as it is. Right, because you're not going to be editing anything out of the background. It's probably not going to be unedited, but you could record like that and you could put it on Spotify within, 5 minutes.
That's right.
And it could be done. But then the next thing to try and do, if you could, would be to have a microphone each to be able to split up the volume levels, because that's going to be your next issue. Yeah. Would I advise that? No, I would try and go the next thing, which is to have like a really, really cheap Bluetooth mic, like a $50 version from PB Tech or something like that.
You can even get cheaper,
right?
I think, but yep.
And then you've got split audio in your phone. That takes a little bit of like knowledge and know-how.
Yeah.
How are you gonna split that file, or are you going to like do any processing to the levels afterwards?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I think editing is like a massive barrier for people who are getting into like the technical side of things. It can be intimidating buying equipment, but you can kind of get your head around it. Even setting up mics and stuff, you can kind of get it's somewhat logical, making sure the mic faces your mouth. But editing often I hear is like, I don't even want to touch it. It's like, I don't even want to go near it because it's just way too intimidating. So I guess finding solutions to people who are in that boat is probably the best, because obviously it's nice to have your own editor who will do everything for you. But if you don't have access to an editor, or don't have the budget or whatever reason, we kind of need to think of solutions that people can record and do as minimal editing or post-production as possible. So maybe even having some sort of system where it records into one device, both microphones record into one device, so they're already synced, and you kind of just grab the file and put it somewhere, right?
Yeah, so now you've spent like, that's not going to come for free.
No.
Right, so that's out of the free tier. It's into like the just spending a little bit of money, the first chunk.
But that first chunk of money of recording it into one device, you don't have to edit them, you don't have to sync them, actually saves you
huge
amount of work, which was like is really good like value money of the money spent versus just getting like a slightly nicer microphone. You're still doing the same amount of work.
Then that audio could be edited on an app. I mean, I'm not sure what app that I would do it on a phone.
Honestly, you could use anything, to be honest. Like if it was if it had one file, right?
I mean,
you could use like CapCut.
Yeah, you could just go through and cut a whole bunch of different make files from that.
Because all you need to do is like all you really need to do is trim the beginning and end, right? Just trim the press and record, and hey guys, welcome to the podcast, and then trim the end. That's I feel like a level people probably can get behind in terms of editing.
Yeah. And then obviously the next thing is introducing, microphones inside a house.
Yeah.
Which then you need, I don't know, we could go into further detail, but that would just be,
that's another episode.
Yeah.
So if you want to hear more about that, then we can talk about it. But in the simplest form to recap would be 1 to 2 mics. If you're doing 2 mics, we'd recommend recording it into one device. Something like a Zoom device would be useful. We can go into, if you want to hear more sort of different devices that you can use, or you can just use a phone as for one thing and just hand it between you, or just have it in the middle. and there's your podcast.
Yeah.
That's it. That's pretty much it. You can do it anywhere. You can do it outside. And actually, sometimes the noise of the outside can add to the ambience of the, if it's like, if you're doing like some sort of natural, well-being podcast, you can sometimes like doing it
100%.
doing it in the park is actually quite nice.
Yeah, can work really well. You just have to, again, experiment with it, practice.
Yeah.
Just
Test
do a test of
Go
how that's going to
record
sound.
something, go somewhere and just record it and just listen to it.
Yeah.
And be like, that's cool or that's not cool.
And then I'm just going to throw over all of this that people can't explain what the difference in quality is between a good and a bad podcast.
Yeah.
But people will not listen to something that's absolute rubbish.
Yeah.
And they will consider you less professional. I'm
Yeah.
just got like that's a big statement.
It's true.
But
It's
I
true.
mean, you can tell the difference, like,
Yeah.
because it's going to come off. Like, they're in a professional environment. They've got, everything sounds nice and clean.
Yeah.
It's all got this kind of radio, I would just say radio-ness to it.
Yeah.
Well, let's kind of, consider
It
them
gives you a level
more
of-
trustworthy and more professional.
It gives you a level of legitness.
Yeah.
To it,
100%.
which is an added bonus. More so for certain podcasts, certain more formal podcasts, corporate podcasts, whatever it is. Sometimes you need that level of legitness. But for more,
We're talking about getting started.
yeah.
So we're talking about
exactly.
like how to have no barriers and just having a go at actually
Yeah.
getting started.
Yeah.
So, and that's the most basic way you can do it.
Yeah.
Would I recommend that? That's like how you're going to announce a huge podcast?
Absolutely.
Obviously not, but we'll go through the different steps.
Totally.
So that's kind of the little tech thing that we'll do for now.
Yeah.
And then talking about distribution. So
That's a whole other topic, isn't it?
I know,
You've got your
yeah.
recording.
Yeah.
What do you do with it? How do you even get it on the platforms? It's just like a whole nother world,
Mhm.
But there is a simple solution. It's pretty easy nowadays to do it. And the basically the way you want to go for audio podcasts, actually you can do video as well now, is I believe it's called Spotify for Creators now, which is basically it's Spotify's is the main host of it. It's free, which is important. There are other versions of this that aren't free, and Spotify will it's separate to like your normal Spotify account, and you log in. I think you can use your Spotify account and create a podcast, and then that will distribute it to various different platforms. There's a few that it doesn't distribute it to, like YouTube, but it'll just distribute it to the main ones. YouTube and Apple Music it doesn't go to.
Yeah.
But
And Amazon and yeah.
there's it's like Spotify, which is the main one, and then like a bunch of other smaller ones. And it's free, super simple to do as well.
Yeah.
Like very simple. You just got to know that it's called Spotify for Creators. That's all you really need to know.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the easiest starting point. I think
I kind of explain that process. It's really like doing a Facebook post.
Yeah.
You
social media post.
Yeah, you upload the media, you give it a title,
Yeah.
and give it a description.
Yeah.
Put in you need the podcast cover art.
Yep, you
So
do.
you
You need like a
that.
tile. Yep.
And
that's
then
true.
basically you go through the things. When do you want to publish it?
Should
And you
publish it
basically
now.
hit post. It's kind of the same thing.
Basically.
So really, and the easiest way to think about it is Spotify and Apple are the two kind of main big aggregators that distribute to all the other kind of apps and channels. So when you're like getting multiple different apps to listen to podcasts on your phone, they are not each holding that entire podcast catalog,
Yeah.
right? That is in Spotify usually or Apple.
Yeah.
They're the main holders.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much Amazon is holding.
Yeah.
But once you get it on Spotify, it's going to end up on all the little apps that you get on your phone.
Yeah.
And then once it's on Apple, that kind of goes on all the other ones.
Yeah.
So then you have to apply to put it, through your Amazon account as well.
Yeah.
For Google Podcasts and the other things as well. But most people are using Apple and Spotify.
Yeah.
So once it's kind of on there, it's all good.
Yeah.
that's pretty straightforward in that process. The other thing is you can upload an audio file and test out, do all your artwork, do all your descriptions, hit publish, have a look and see what it looks like on Spotify. No one's going to hear it. You haven't told anyone it's there.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like upload the file and put it on, and then have a look, upload a photo of your face.
Yeah.
Saying something crazy, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
It's not going to be seen, 100%. Then you can actually see, oh, wow, that's what the information looks like that I put in.
Yeah.
Oh, I spelt that wrong.
Yeah.
Then you just go in and edit it. It's not going to be there doing anything, and then you can tell people about it. So you can actually just go and have a look. It's like kind of like building a mini website.
Yeah, totally. It's almost
no one cares.
It's technically public, but no one is looking at it unless they.
It's impossible.
It's almost
to find.
It's pretty much impossible to find.
You can't find it
unless you have the exact name. With
someone has to know what to search.
Exactly.
So if you've done something and put it on your secret little project, it's invisible.
Yeah.
It's 100% invisible.
Yeah.
So that's simple distribution.
Yeah. There is actually I'll quickly touch on. There is actually other websites, quite a lot actually, of more of like a one-stop shop for podcast distribution, and they're like a lot of them are subscription based, and they offer a bunch of other things. So they can basically you pay for one distributor, and that does it to Spotify and Apple, and you also get other things like you can get sort of ads get put into your podcast automatically. You can sort of put it so that you can have like if you upload an ad or like a file of an ad that you created, it'll like automatically put the ad in every one of your podcasts at certain points, which is quite good. There's even other ones where there's other sort of distribution websites that will basically sell ads and put them into your podcast for you. And I'm not sure how much control you have over them. I've never actually done it or gone through with the process, but I know it exists where you can get basically money from that, where it'll put your podcast on like some sort of marketplace, and ads can like basically get put onto your podcast at certain time spots, which is a potential avenue sort of direction that you can go down. There is a couple downsides to that though, which is I'm not sure how much control you get over the ads, and also too a lot of them have there's barriers to entry. You need to have a certain amount of listeners to get into it. You need to have certain amount of followers in your podcast. So it's not necessarily a beginner thing, but it does exist out there that there are levels, there are more steps to go into that are paid for, that you get more control, you get more of these added on things. But 100% to start out with, go to Spotify for creators. I think Apple was called Apple for creators or Apple for podcasters, one of the two. That's the starting point.
The barrier to entry is incredibly low and simple, so don't be discouraged. You could put an audio file up there in a matter of minutes and direct people to it and have it hosted, and people can listen to it. Super easy. That is like the
easiest.
Probably the thing that people are most surprised about, that I'm always just like pushing them to say, just put it on there, have a look at it. You don't even have to tell people about it. But again, the distribution and the hosting and the paid stuff, like as podcasts get bigger and more involved, it does get technical.
It does, yeah.
Right? Like all of a sudden, if you've got all of these episodes and they're hosted on Spotify and you no longer want them on Spotify and you want to pull them and migrate them somewhere else, or say you're a podcast producer now and say you've got 2 podcasts, because on that Spotify for creators, you can only host one unless you're going to have like a completely different Spotify account. But then there are aggregators, distribution, don't know which word is correct right now for that, where you can hold, like I've hosted
multiple podcasts,
10 different podcasts that I've managed all on one.
That's again like another one of those sort of add-ons or pros that you get with the paid subscription ones. You can have multiple shows for multiple podcasts.
Or like Riverside or something where it's like direct from record. I'm pretty sure it goes like through the whole thing. You can distribute it from their platforms.
Yeah. There's lots of podcasting platforms for like Riverside's another one for like Zoom recording. So if you're recording on Zoom, there's a few different ones. I think, I'm not sure if Descript now owns it or doesn't own it, but Squadcast is another one, Riverside. There's a few other sort of Zoom hosting websites, but specifically for podcasters.
Yeah. So again, you have to start
Yeah.
somewhere. So don't be, discouraged from just like getting a roll on and just doing all these things. No one's really going to listen anyway to the first few episodes.
Yeah.
It honestly takes a while to get going.
Yeah.
Kind of talk about that as well, right? Like we're just trying to keep rolling out the episodes so that we keep momentum, and like it honestly takes a lot of work and a lot of planning.
Totally.
It takes a lot of motivation.
It's probably going to take like 10 episodes of this until we actually make something that's like really, good. Or maybe even a lot
you
more.
just got to get through it, eh?
You have to go through those first steps. And there's no way to get better at it other than just doing it. You just got to do it. Who cares?
The funniest thing is like we don't actually have any goal or
no, we don't.
or like anything that we're trying to get
towards.
out of this, other than the experience of like, we probably should be showing what we're doing, or like putting ourselves in front of the camera for our own experience, and to just pass on the knowledge of things that we're kind of doing every day. So that's quite funny. Because no one is like, when we see the view count, I'm not going to be like, oh, no one's watching it.
It's a weird perspective because everyone who starts a podcast will be going in it with some sort of goal, probably, or we'll care about who's listening, how many people are listening, whereas we're coming from a perspective of like, because this is kind of, we do this all the time, like we don't really, we're doing it quite almost for ourselves actually. That's kind of a big, and actually it's a really good thing to have, is do it for yourself, not just for external reasons like a business or or for
the practice.
Do it for just doing it for fun, and that will actually make you a lot better because you're motivated to do it. And then also you won't get caught up in the views and the listens and the...
It's not going to happen like that. Unless you've already got a profile. That's
true.
Another thing that we're going to talk about. But I just actually wrote down here to get some stats on podcasts, because it's wild when people actually ask, like, how many listens on an audio podcast should I expect? That we're kind of getting towards the end of what we want to talk about, right? So I've got like a couple more things, and I'll read it off the paper. People always ask, now that I have an episode, what do I do with it, and how do I get people to watch it? So this is the thing, right? It's just a product. You have a product. It's a file, right? People aren't just going to like volunteer their time to sit through anything unless they're literally doing you a favor. If they don't know what it's about and you've done it and you've asked them to listen to it, they're going to go, okay, I'm going to listen to this whole episode of yours. Like, what's it about? Why am I doing this? So, I mean, the way that I explain this to people all the time, which is, well, how are you going to tell people about it? And they're like, what, should I like put something on Facebook? And I'm like, yeah, you should. And it's with everything. It's the same thing with music. It's the same thing with anything. Like, you have to work pretty hard to tell people to watch something.
Right? You're marketing your product.
It's 100% marketing. And you either have a network that you can leverage off, or you have absolutely nothing and no one knows what you do anyway. So of course marketing is the biggest, marketing, just telling people, is the most important thing about doing it. But then are you doing it because you think that you have something valuable to share, or you feel like people should just be genuinely interested in what you have to do, or like what you've done just because? Right? So even then, you've got to get good enough at your craft so that people recognize it and go, wow, I wasn't really interested in that thing, but now I'm just going to watch this person because they're just amazing at what they do.
That's right.
So, right, a huge company comes in and records an episode, or they record it, say like a first series, and they don't release each episode until they've got their season 1 done, which is like a very usual thing that happens, right? So they plan out each episode, or they get ahead of the release schedule, and so this is what we normally do. And then they will record an episode every 2 weeks, and then they'll wait till they've got 2, 3, 4 in the bank, and then they'll start rolling them out. And then they start planning season 2. So they're already ahead, their marketing teams and all that can all get ahead. So that's the normal rollout.
Yeah.
For like if you're releasing a song or an album, it's
kind of a
the
campaign
exact same
almost,
thing.
right?
If you were releasing a product on the market,
Yeah.
same thing again.
Yeah,
like you've got to have the product in the bag.
You have to sort of prove the value of your product without people listening to it so that they actually want to listen to it, you know?
Yeah.
You have to make this be like, you want to listen to this, and this is why you want to listen to this. You kind of have to prove that to people. First of all, you have to reach people, and then you actually have to convince them that it's worth their time.
Yeah.
And that's the difficult part. And that's just marketing.
Yeah. So you might already have that, right? Well, you have the product, and you might know a direct group of people that are either waiting to listen to what you have to say, so that they know that you're some kind of authority on this
information
thing
that they would appreciate.
Yeah. So you've kind of made it knowing that they
are your sort of
they're
target audience.
they're automatically like they're on board. Oh, I know this guy. He's a great speaker from the something.
Yeah.
He's talking about this. Oh, now he's doing a podcast. So you've already got that. That's cool. You've already established a network, right? But then if you're a company, you've got all these other networks. You've already got an email database.
Totally.
Right? So then all of those people, you might already have a following from just like, other things that you kind of
things in your industry
influence. But you may already have a network of people that you share newsletters to.
Yeah.
All these other kind of contacts where as soon as you make a podcast episode, it just morphs into that as well. And you're already hitting 10,000 people.
Yeah.
Right? So I've seen companies kind of do that.
Yeah.
Or then the other thing is if you have someone who has some kind of influence or has a following on your podcast, then you leverage off theirs.
Yeah.
So if they do a post about it, then so that's why people do these like combo things all the time. They're just leveraging two audiences.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? So then it gets even bigger than that, and it just keeps going and going.
Totally.
So if you're already a famous person, you do a podcast,
you step up on everyone else.
You're going out to millions of people instantly, and that some of these people sit at the top just because of their networks.
So how does someone, because that's probably going to be people who are listening to this and want to make a podcast, a very small percentage, if anyone at all, will be in that group. People who are listening to this podcast probably will have little to no social, network already that they can market it, or maybe even little budget. So I guess, what is our message to them, or how can we best help them? I think my first message to them would be simply just to start thinking about it, because a lot of people don't anticipate or even think that far ahead in the process. Often when you're about to create a podcast or thinking about it, or even in the process of it, you're so distracted, I quote unquote, distracted or overwhelmed by all the other barriers in your way that you don't see all the way at the end, marketing is this giant barrier that you got to freaking, you got to get around. So my advice would be just to start thinking about it now and start thinking about strategies and what actually you want to get out of it. Like who do you want to reach? Who is your audience? Yeah, what are you looking to get out of this? For us, we're not looking to get much out of it, so we don't really need to stress too much about, having a big marketing campaign or anything.
No.
But that's not the case for everyone. Everyone has their own unique scenario. Sometimes they're selling a product. Sometimes it's just for fun. It's a passion project. They don't really care about, having a massive audience.
Yeah.
Think about your situation and, think about what you have already that you can leverage and get creative.
Yeah,
That's
like
good.
It's going to grow organically anyway.
Yeah.
Right? So if you've got no network and no podcast, right? You've got nothing, right? Then you start recording an episode. It's usually going to be, you're not recording a monologue most of the time. You're going to be recording like an interview with somebody.
Yeah.
Right? Then you've already got two people. If you're proud of it, then you can share it with those two groups.
Yeah.
And then if no one listens to it, right, you don't stop. You carry on, you do the next episode, and you start thinking, what is going to be of interest to people?
Yeah.
Or I have something of value on this specific topic. How can I share it with the people that I think need to hear it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Then you contact those groups.
Yeah.
And you say, hey, look, I've done a podcast on this. have a listen, see what you think. And they go,
Yeah.
wow, you know heaps about this. Have
Yeah.
you met this guy? You should get him on your podcast.
Yeah.
Her,
Yeah. Totally.
they, them.
Yeah, totally.
All
It's like also understanding, like you kind of touched on it, which is understanding the value that you are giving, right? Understanding what's your selling point, and then you can figure out who appreciates that value, what kind of audience will like the knowledge of podcasts, who's gonna actually want to listen to a podcast about, or at least an episode about making a podcast. It's going to be people who are in that camp of, they've got an idea, whatever it is. Maybe they've got an objective they want to solve, or they want to get to. Sorry. So it's sort of thinking about that. What are you actually providing? Who's going to appreciate that value? And then you can.
Yeah. But enjoy the idea of it's your passion. Like you're the one that's putting the thoughts down.
Totally.
And recording them. You had the idea that it was worth doing.
Yeah.
So keep doing it. Keep banking them.
Yeah.
And this is what people also don't realize.
Yeah.
That you could be 20 episodes deep before someone in your specific audience that would really appreciate it, and they're one of your people, even hears about it.
Totally.
Somehow through some other person go, oh, I've been listening, like there's only 20 episodes, but I kind of like it. This person told me about it.
Yeah.
So you have a listen. Oh, I love it. Then so that's the snowball that kind of naturally happens with anything.
Yeah.
And it's the same process all the time.
Yeah.
So you need to, number one is consistency, right? Because as soon as you look at, say, like it's a podcast that's been born and is gone, you're kind of looking at it going, oh, the episode's from 2017. I heard it's really, really good, so I'm going to go listen to it, but they're finished now. So it can take like a little bit to go in and listen
100%.
to those type of podcasts because you're like, why aren't they current?
Yeah. And it's like, if you listen to podcasts, this is an interesting thought, which is if you listen to podcasts and you are finding new podcasts, how many new podcasts that you are finding are early on in their episodes? Like if you're finding a podcast, you go, oh, this is really cool. Check how many episodes they've done when you just found them. It's probably not early on. They've probably done, in the hundreds,
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. It is
numbers.
mind-blowing, and it's obviously it's a little bit of a tough pill to swallow to be like, I'm not going to get any traction until episode 200. But it's more about the things that you learn along the way is what will essentially help you to build your audience.
Yeah.
And you don't get that through just research alone or just planning a podcast. You have to just go through it, go through every step, find someone, talk to someone. Oh, there's a better way of doing that. Let's do that differently. It's all these little micro adjustments that you make along that road to 100 episodes or 200 episodes that builds upon your podcast to make it as valuable as it can be.
Yeah. And it can't be, if you're going to be at that stage, what I find a lot of people do, say when they come in here and they've gone for full production.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Three cameras.
Yeah.
And then they look at the expense and go, well, I can't afford to do that and not have the response that I need. I need to
that's right. They have
I need the return on my investment for however,
they think
many
if they
$100
invest
it
in some
costs.
studio lights and some microphones in a studio that they're going to get, the traction. And while you sort of mentioned this before, quality is important, but it's definitely not the most important thing. There's probably a few things more important than that.
No, you could do Zoom calls.
You can do Zoom calls.
Like for video.
Yeah, you could. Yeah. There's examples of podcasts that have, done quite well just doing that.
Yeah.
So it's not everything. Quality is not everything.
No. But consistency has got to be
the number one
the
thing.
most important thing, because consistency means that you're going to learn things like along the way. You're going to keep chipping at it, chipping away at it. I know of so many podcasts that get into the 30, 40, 50 episodes.
Yeah.
It's not easy to maintain that
Absolutely
over
not.
Multiple years with not much coming back to you.
Yeah.
You're probably not going to, most podcasts are not going to get a sponsor at that stage where it's actually going to get a monetary return. So I know a lot of podcasts that have stopped.
Yeah.
Around those stages.
Yeah, because they're not getting their return. Yeah.
Yeah, but it also doesn't need to be something that
It's
is
a
like
moneymaker.
commoditized. Like it doesn't need to have a dollar value to show
yeah.
you that you're doing something important. You have to like continue to put the time
That's right.
into it, and something may happen where it does get monetized and you do get a payback, or it becomes your full-time job. But like comparing to some of these podcasts or that you're up against in terms of people's attention and time.
Yeah.
Like there's some wild stuff
100%.
going on there.
I think that a lot of people, there's a conception that like, the end goal is to make money off from the podcast. And what I've sort of discovered is that the best way to make money off a podcast is you have to do it sort of indirectly, in a sense that your podcast needs to kind of direct you to either like a product or service outside of your podcast that you're selling, or maybe your business, so that it's really difficult to make money from sponsorships and advertisements unless you're like quite large, right? Unless you have a reputation, or you're in that big sort of almost unattainable group of podcasts. So the best way to do it is to link it to a product. For example, I edit for a couple travel podcasts, and what they do is they have like travel guides that they sell. They sell consultation services for specific like countries. If they're going to travel to a country, they're experts in, they'll offer consultations to it. And their podcast is all free, essentially. It's all free. They're not making much money off it at all. And that kind of helps their business, which is their real money maker, which is these sort of outside things, products, whether it be like a map or your sort of travel insider tips, all these little things that you can sort of sell on top of your podcast for deeper insight, that kind of thing. That is a really good way to sort of get some sort of monetary return on your investment versus trying to get sponsors,
Good example of one that organically turned into something that it was bigger, that became bigger than what was originally intended. Just through the passion of doing it, get offered sponsorship.
Yeah.
Oh, we heard your podcast, and would you want to come and do this?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't aim for those things, but that's naturally what happened, and it turned into almost like a full-time job, which you do hear of these things.
Yep, totally. And there's also like an art of like pitching to sponsorship companies. I know of one podcaster who's actually got quite good at being able to pitch their podcast to certain companies and be like, this is really good advertisement for your company, and then actually got sponsorships on board for that. That's really good. And actually there's other things that you could do as well, like with advertisements throughout the podcast that you can do, that we can really dive deeper. But
we can actually go a lot deeper.
We can go a lot deeper.
We didn't even really plan to kind of go that far into what we're talking about now. Like it kind of gets quite full on, which is actually quite cool, because that's just like a normal chat.
That is a normal chat, yeah.
I'm going to listen back to this and then I'll kind of write more notes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Try summarize it as in make it lightweight, right?
Lightweight is a good word, actually.
Lightweight. There's a better word for it, but low cost. Like low time cost.
Yeah.
Do it because it's fun.
Yeah.
You have to do it consistently, but do it just for the practice of having a go at getting through the steps. So instead of thinking about it, that you're actually putting something on there, and share it with a group of people.
Yeah. And be prepared to not like the first few episodes, or just like be a little bit unhappy with certain aspects. That's totally part of the process. Yeah. And just part of the thing of just, it's more important that you go make a podcast that you don't like than don't make it at all, because you don't have the money to make it the way you want to make it, because you learn
100%.
And improve way more by just doing it and going, oh, actually that was not cool, or like, that looks ugly, or that sounds really bad in that room. You learn, that's like a learning experience that you kind of don't really get if you don't otherwise do that. So be prepared to be a little bit unhappy with your first few episodes. Yeah. Consistency is key. You will get better over time.
Yeah. And then I think it kind of comes back to, if you're sitting there looking at this.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. It can be like
as the standard starting point. The whole point of why we are doing this is to show you that we have every single piece of professional podcasting equipment
that you could want,
software. We've been through, we've recorded hundreds and hundreds of episodes of all different types of podcasts.
Yeah.
We're trying to do a lightweight raw version. We've got 2 lights here, 4 lights that, I mean, people, you're not going to obtain those things for ages.
No.
We're in a perfect sounding, properly controlled room with, the podcast mics that
everyone seems to have,
but they're $800 a pop.
Yeah.
We've got the headphones that you see in all the shots.
Yeah.
This has been recorded on a $5,000
camera.
On a camera. We have 3 of those. It's not our personal gear, but this is kind of what we do all day. So you can't aim to even start a podcast and think you're gonna come in and spend what it costs to record in here on experimenting to see if your podcast is going to go well or not. You don't need this. You could record it on an iPhone in your lounge. We didn't really talk about the iPhone kind of recording thing.
No, the video side
in terms of video.
Yeah.
But there are people doing it for much less.
Yeah.
But we're just talking about starting something, not being intimidated by just starting at all because you feel like you're not going to look a certain way or you're not going to sound another way.
Yeah.
And that's when you kind of, if you're not sure whether it makes the cut at all, you need the second opinion of someone that knows what they're looking at, or just trust your own judgment and do the long way of just tutorials and figuring out where you are on that scale.
Yeah, totally.
But I mean, there's people out there that are at this point, and again, if we're going to dive into something super technical, we'll kind of give a little thing if people really want that.
Yeah. So I guess, back to the audience, which is, if there's anything we sort of talked about that you want more information on, please let us know. For the 5 people that are probably listening to this. No. Wow.
Or the nun people.
Or the nun people,
but like in a year's time, someone might find
true.
this episode.
That's right. That's another thing, is that these things can go on for a while. So
So I don't know. Oh, Karen.
No, yeah. So basically, let us know what you're thinking. Not sure how many more episodes we've made by the time you're watching this, but we'll if we haven't covered it, we'll definitely look into it. That kind of wraps up everything. I feel like we covered quite a lot of different things, at least in a somewhat broad sense. We went, a little bit down.
We could do like the whole setups thing, so we're going to go through like the different mic things. We're going to go through. Well, you don't even know this, but I've thought about this anyway.
Cool.
So like we do a Zoom call at home and we go through. So this is what we do with people all the time. Is say like, okay, so you're doing a Zoom call. Where are you going to be? Are you going to have headphones? Do you have like Ethernet that you can plug in so that, like the line doesn't drop out? So I actually want to go through, do a Zoom call, and we'll go through like both of us in the kitchen, the worst place ever, or like this,
and then we'll just
bathroom,
go to different rooms,
and we're both using just our laptop mics.
So
it's like laptop to laptop, no headphones. And then we'll slowly introduce, okay, so both of us put in like, say, the cheapest thing, like earbuds or something. And then we'll compare the difference. And then we're like, okay, earbuds or maybe like laptops, but both move to, carpeted, cushiony rooms where it sounds better. Okay, and then like move the laptop slightly closer to your face. The video looks terrible, but at least the sound looks better. And then we'll do the same thing in reverse, whatever.
Yeah, totally. That's
with earbuds. Okay, it's getting slightly better.
That's a deep dive,
Right, and then we'll see what you need to get a good sound.
And
then maybe like a
most
USB
importantly,
mic.
listen to what it sounds like. Because we can tell people, that's, do it like this, do it like that. But often people, when I tell them that, they just go, oh, okay, whatever. And then they don't wear headphones. And then they go in the kitchen. I'm like, when you listen to it, you'll understand. So that's a really good idea.
So like that kind of Zoomy
We'll
thing.
do our Zoom episode in Zoom, I think is a good one.
100%. So we'll do that. Then the setup thing that we're going to go through, like with different mics, or, we'll like show the gear of what you need for a basics thing. Maybe like advise people on, cheap software and those kind of things, if that's what you want. Or if there's anything else to do with kind of podcasting,
we can move on.
maybe we'll think if there's another episode, or we'll just jump on to something completely different. It's starting with podcasting because this is a podcast about this thing.
Yeah, so we're sort of,
But
it's our starting point. But
we're
we're
going to go through everything.
the Poddy's going to move to all sorts of locations and places and people and things. So,
and because the pool of, the percentage of influence of anyone that listens to it,
100%.
it could only take one suggestion.
Yeah.
from one person. I don't know who that would be. To just go, oh, can you guys do the next one on how to get into the audiobook industry and how that all works? And then the whole next episode will just be on audiobooks.
Yeah.
And whatever else could possibly happen.
Yeah.
But let us know.
Let us know. Cool. I think that pretty much wraps up this episode. I'm not sure how long this has been going on for, but
it feels like a very long time.
It feels like
this is something else to be aware of.
Yeah, This is. I actually thought about this before just as we sat down. I was like, I probably should have set up a timer somewhere.
How about I look? Guess what the time is?
I don't even know what time we started, so I can't even tell you. What time did we start? Do you know?
I reckon this has been like an hour and a half.
You reckon?
Yeah.
I reckon it's been. Ooh, actually, maybe you're right. Ooh. It's been a long one. Look out for next episode where we talk about what we did wrong in this one.
And how to make episodes shorter.
Yeah, that's going to be the next one. Okay. Catch you guys in the next episode.
See y'all.